Hello, my name is Tiffany Winfrey, and it is a tremendous honor and a great pleasure to be applying with the United States Air Force as a potential candidate for chaplain. I am currently serving in the role of hospice chaplain here in Virginia Beach, Virginia, and my faith is charismatic Christian. And charismatics simply believe that some of the spiritual gifts that are identified in the New Testament are still in operation today for the faith. When I think back about what initiated my journey towards military chaplaincy, I have to be transparent and say that it was never a desire within me to go into the military to become a chaplain. In 2011, the Lord had really put a strong call in my heart to go into ministry. And in my prayer time, the Lord had identified to me that I would travel and that I would speak and that I would minister. At that time, my mother was very concerned about me making a living as a minister, and she suggested to me that I consider military chaplaincy. But at that time in 2011, I didn't think I was a military person, military girl. And so it took some time for me to adjust to the idea. What really confirmed this call to me is that one day I decided to go to our local park that we have here in Virginia Beach. And I was going to really sit before God and pray to God to help me to identify what type of ministry He wanted me to do for my life. Long story short, I was praying at the park on a particular mountain that we have at this park when a man approached me at the park. And this man said to me that I want you to know that God hears you when you pray. And so when the man said that to me, I was a little surprised. He was a stranger. And something in me just felt to respond to him and say, thank you. I'm here at the park today to pray about a decision for my life. And that's when this man said to me that he was just at church and that he was led to the park today. And he said to me, I am a military chaplain. It was a very defining moment for my life, and I've told this story many times, that I went to the park that day to pray to God about what my mother had put in my heart to do as far as ministry, and that I was very conflicted about going into the military to be a chaplain. And now this stranger out of nowhere tells me that he was in church this Sunday morning and that God directed him to the park and that he himself was a military chaplain. And that was the confirmation that I needed and a significant turning point in my life. I knew from that moment that God was confirming to me His ministry calling for my life. Considering that I initially had some reservations about joining the military, I certainly felt like the Air Force would be the ideal branch of service for me. As a working person for many years in civilian life, I thought that it would be the most compatible transition. And additionally, I just did my research on the Air Force. Culturally, I thought I would fit better in the Air Force culture, and I really admire the things that the Air Force stands for. So I do believe that it is the best branch of service for me to be pursuing at this time. My understanding of pluralism in chaplaincy is very solid because I have a understanding that a chaplain is simply a minister that is operating in a secular environment. And in that type of environment, there has to be room for everyone to live in the freedom and to be able to express the belief systems that are most important to them. In particular, when I was in graduate school, I had a professor that really made me think deeply lightly on this particular subject. I was taking world religions, and my professor was a Chinese man, and he had grew up in China as a Buddhist monk and had come to the United States and learned about Christianity and converted to become a Christian. And he made some very valid points about people in general when it comes to their faith. And he stated that at times, people can be very strong-willed and sometimes even not considerate of people of other faiths, and that it's very important to always remain humble and yielding and always exercise the rights for all of us to be feeling secure in our faith no matter where we are. And in that world religions class, I made a commitment within myself that I would always honor religious freedom and that I would always remain humble and yielding to everyone to be able to practice safely and securely their own belief systems. And I believe that that is one of the most upheld values that a chaplain can possess. Currently, I work as a part of an interdisciplinary team in my hospice line of work. As most of us know, hospice is end-of-life care, and it's very critical that the right professionals assemble together to provide care for our patients and their families. I work with nurses, doctors, medical social workers, bereavement counselors, and myself as the hospice chaplain. And it is very important that we respect one another's disciplines and how we all work together with integrity to provide mental, emotional, physical, and spiritual care to our patients that are in really critical stages of life. And so I have learned a great deal of learning how to operate in an interdisciplinary team to make sure that I do my best as a hospice chaplain. Some of the areas that we cover, of course, are grief, suicide ideation, crisis situations, and really just the emotional toil that end-of-life care can take upon our patients and their families. And so it is of vital importance that we be able to operate together, and I'm very happy to say that we do so wonderfully and that I enjoy the team that I'm currently a part of. Thank you very much for this wonderful opportunity to apply with the United States Air Force. It's such an honor to be considered as an applicant to serve the men and women in uniform. Thank you so much.